We are elected members of Parliament. All ministers serve this house, not Sky News or the BBC. So I do hope the message is going back. The ministerial code is not fit for purpose if this continues to happen. So I hope it's going to be used and make sure that ministers take it serious. This applies to Secretary of State. It is disappointing that the Secretary of State for Defense gave a speech on television yesterday and no statement from the government has been made in this house. And I hate to say the house went up at 3 o'clock yesterday. There was a huge gap of time that could have been taken. This is the third in a row from the defense where it's been put to the outside to the media rather than here. Before we show you the full footage, do us a little favor by subscribing to the channel because over 98% of you watching haven't subscribed. Costs you nothing, not even a penny to join this channel. Have you subscribed? Thanks so much. So please, as I stated yesterday, matters relating to defense of the realm should always come to this house first. I now call James Cartage to ask his urgent question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To ask the Secretary of State for Defense if he'll make a statement on the use of lasers by the Russian spy ship Yentar. Minister, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'd like to make a statement on the Russian Main Directorate of Deep Sea Research to the minister gently. Unfortunately, it's not a statement. That's what I wished. We are answering an urgent question. And I think that is the big problem, that somehow different departments have decided that statements don't matter. I know it's not the gentleman in question, but I hope the message is going to go back to the Defense Secretary and that people are listening how important this house is. Comes first. Minister, Mr. Speaker, I will pass the message into the broader team. The speaker absolutely erupted, and not a small grumble or a polite tart. No, this was a full-on volcanic detonation aimed straight at the Labour front bench after a leaked story found its way to a journalist before it ever reached the House. And mate, when I tell you the speaker was fuming, I mean he went from calm to volcanic in 10 seconds. Proper Westminster drama. So picture the scene. MPs are gathered, the chambers buzzing with quiet little whispers about the morning's chaos. And suddenly the speaker rises, and from the moment he opens his mouth you can tell he's not having any of it. He reminds everyone again that ministers and senior MPs have a duty and actual obligation under the parliamentary rule book to bring major announcements to the House first, not to the media, not to some columnist on X, not to a political gossip account on TikTok, but to Parliament. And he says it with that tone, the one where you can practically hear the vein in his forehead pounding. The speaker is a man who's seen every trick in the political playbook, every sneaky leak, every conveniently timed press drop, every oops, sorry, we forgot to tell Parliament. But today pushed him clean over the edge, because this isn't once or twice or even 3 times. This is becoming a pattern, and in his words, a dangerous one. And this time it wasn't the defense secretary or a rogue minister. No, this time it was Labour. Someone on the Labour benches decided to leak a major story to a journalist before even giving parliamentarians a hint of the details. A story that wasn't just a little embarrassing or a political jab. No, a national scale policy reveal. So when he stands there, proper steely, and says that this is undermining Parliament itself, you could see Labour MPs stiffen in their seats. Some looking confused, some annoyed, and a few doing that quiet, "Oh, for God's sake, who did it this time?" face. And the speaker presses on, practically shaking with frustration. He says again that elected MPs serve the House first, that journalists aren't the executive, that broadcasters aren't the legislature that Parliament must hear. First, and must not as a courtesy, not as a suggestion but as a rule. And he says, if this keeps happening then the entire code, the entire system of accountability, becomes pointless. And as he's talking, you can hear some Tories laughing under their breath like oh ho ho, Labour stepped in it today. But honestly it wasn't funny. Not the way he said it. The man sounded like someone who's watched this place fall apart bit by bit, and is finally screaming into the wind, hoping anyone takes it seriously. And here's where it gets even madder, because right after that explosive telling off he turns to call an MP forward for an urgent question, and even that spirals into chaos. The MP rises, a woman from the Defense Select Committee, steady and professional, as she asks a pressing question about the rising security concerns involving a foreign vessel seen near UK waters. Serious issue, actual national security stuff. But before she can even get properly into it, the Speaker interrupts to remind the minister responding, male junior minister from Defense, that they are answering an urgent question, and this is not a chance to give a statement they didn't bother to bring earlier. His frustration is boiling over because he's seeing a pattern. Government departments, opposition front benches, ministers, advisors, all deciding they'd rather talk to Sky News, The Guardian, or some political influencer on TikTok instead of giving the House the respect it's owed. You can feel the Speaker's patience disintegrating by the second. It's like watching a teacher finally snap after the class keeps talking over them. Except this teacher has nuclear, submarines, and foreign intelligence operations being briefed to journalists before MPs even know what's happening. And it hits different because this comes during a week when politics already feels like a circus on fire. Yesterday, the Prime Minister faced a rebellion over immigration caps. The day before, the Home Secretary got roasted on social media for comments about policing protests, and just hours ago a leaked report about the NHS winter pressures caused absolute beat'em online. People are stressed. Tensions are high. The political temperature is hotter than a nightclub in August. And now, on top of everything else, Labour leaking a story before Parliament hears it. That was the final straw. And the wild part, the Speaker doesn't just blast the leak, he blasts the culture. He says in one of the coldest lines of the day that too many people across too many departments have decided the House doesn't matter, that the media gets priority, that clicks get priority, that political advantage gets priority. And you can see MPs shifting, some nodding, some glaring, some staring down at their phones, pretending they're reading emails when they're really checking who on Twitter got the scoop. Then the Speaker leans in and says that if this continues, the ministerial code, the backbone of political accountability, is not fit for purpose. He actually said that out loud, on the record. And that's not just him being cranky. That's the parliamentary equivalent of firing a flare into the sky and saying, this ship is sinking if you don't fix it. And as he's finishing, you can see the Labour front bench looking like they want to slide under the benches and disappear, because everyone wants to know the same thing. Who leaked it? Was it an advisor, a shadow minister? Was it deliberate? Was it sabotage? Or was it just someone wanting to impress a journalist? And then the whispers start. You can see MPs exchanging looks, a few muttering, someone on the back benches shaking their head dramatically like they're in a reality show confessional. And in the middle of it all, social media outside is exploding. Westminster League is trending on X. Commentators are speculating, journalists hinting they know more than they can say, the public shaking their heads like bloody politicians again. And as the urgent question proceeds, the atmosphere refuses to calm down. The junior defense minister tries answering, but you can hear the tension in his voice. He's doing his best, but he's answering a question under a cloud of frustration, while also knowing the speaker is 2 seconds away from snapping again if anyone even hints at dodging protocol. Meanwhile, the opposition MP, a woman, known for her blunt, no-nonsense style, presses on trying to drag out details about the security incident. And she's sharp, proper sharp, calling out inconsistencies, pushing the minister to commit to transparency and demanding assurances that Parliament won't be left in the dark again. That contrast between a serious national issue and the political chaos surrounding it makes the whole moment feel like Westminster is coming apart at the seams, and the ripple effect hits immediately. Within an hour, Conservative MPs are using the League as proof that Labour can't be trusted with national responsibility. Labour MPs are snapping back, saying the Tories do the exact same thing every other week. Commentators on TV calling it a constitutional disrespect issue. TikTok is full of clips of the speaker's outburst with dramatic music behind it. Even international media is picking up the story, some asking if the UK's political system is losing internal discipline, and the fact that global outlets are now discussing Westminster leaks like it's an international soap opera. Embarrassing, but not surprising, because this isn't just about one leak. It's about a slow erosion in the seriousness of Parliament itself. And that's what the speaker was raging about. Not the headline, not the gossip, not the journalist, but the principle. Parliament must come first. It must. And the speaker hammered that point so hard, you could feel it echoing through the chamber. And as the session ends, MPs file out with that half-panicked, half-exhausted energy that signals one thing: this isn't over. Not by a long shot. There will be an inquiry. There will be finger-pointing. There will be political fallout and probably strategic backstabbing behind the scenes. And if the speaker follows through on his threat, people are going to lose committee positions, maybe even shadow roles. And just imagine the chaos when the public starts demanding accountability, because leaks aren't just politics as usual anymore. Not when they involve national security, public trust, and the constitutional order of Parliament itself. So here's where we are. A speaker pushed to the edge. Labour front bench scrambling to contain the embarrassment. Journalists sharpening their knives. The government gleefully grabbing popcorn. And the public watching this whole circus, thinking, does anyone in Westminster actually know what they're doing? Which leads us to the big questions now. How many more leaks before Parliament takes real action? Does the speaker have the power or the support to force discipline back into the system? And the biggest question of all, if political parties can't even keep their own internal announcements under control, how are they supposed to run a country? Let me know what you think. Should the speaker clamp down even harder? Should Labour launch a full investigation? Should there be punishments for leaking to the press before Parliament? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more explosive breakdowns of UK political chaos, make sure you hit like, share the video, and subscribe, because this story is far from over. And trust me, the next chapter is going to be even wilder.